YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. So Jeff Ulbrich has officially taken the Atlanta Falcons DC job. So obviously the 49ers list of potential defensive coordinator candidates has gotten shorter. This news broke yesterday. Tom Pelissero of NFL Network reported yesterday that the Falcons were set to hire Ulbrich as their defensive coordinator. Now, obviously, alongside Robert Saleh, Jeff Ulbrich was a known candidate in the conversation of becoming the next defensive coordinator for the Niners. Obviously, in terms of what he's did over the past couple of years, he was the Jets' defensive coordinator under Robert Saleh. And then when Robert Saleh was fired, Ulbrich took over as the interim head coach and coached the Jets for the remainder of the season following Robert Saleh being fired. So obviously, the 49ers clearly are all in on Robert Saleh. I mean, just a few days ago, it was reported that they were, willing to pay Saleh top money, for him to be the highest paid defensive coordinator in NFL history. Nothing's changed there. However, I really hope that this doesn't become a situation where they wait on Saleh and Saleh ends up taking a job elsewhere. And while he takes that job elsewhere, other 49ers defensive coordinator candidates get hired elsewhere. That could be a catastrophe for the 49ers. Because obviously then, who do the 49ers look to then? Do they hire somebody within-house like Brandon Staley? I think this year it definitely seems like they're targeting an external candidate. But if they wait around and Saleh goes elsewhere, they could lose out on some other candidates going elsewhere as well. So this is definitely a sticky situation. I mean, I definitely think the 49ers are pretty confident that they're going to get Saleh as their DC. However, there's always that chance that Saleh takes a head coaching job, whether it's with the Jags, whether it's with the Raiders. Shit's going to be interesting in the next, week or two, depending on how this all works out. I don't know when the 49ers plan on, hiring their next DC. I don't know if they really have a timeline in which they would like to hire a DC by. Because obviously Saleh still has some interviews to do. And, I definitely think that over the next week or so, all his interviews should wrap up. I mean, I think he's interviewed with majority of the teams out there that need head coach and that have requested to interview him. However, Saleh has a lot of thinking to do. Clearly the relationship with the 49ers and the ties that he has in this organization, kind of leads me to believe that the 49ers are in a pretty good spot in terms of their chances in getting him as their DC. But at the same time, man, Saleh's got to talk with his family. Saleh has to, figure out where he wants to move with his family and whatnot. It's more than just, taking a job because you have ties to the organization. Like maybe his family doesn't like California. Maybe he doesn't like California. Maybe he's thinking, I'm done being a defensive coordinator. I know my worth. I am capable of being a very good head coach in the NFL. So many ins and outs of this talk and this conversation with Saleh to the Niners. But again, Ulbrich gets hired by Atlanta to be their defensive coordinator. The 49ers list just got shorter because of that in terms of the current defensive coordinator candidates that they were looking at. So hopefully the 49ers make a good decision. And, obviously if it's not Saleh, there's maybe 2 or 3 other candidates that I could see them getting as their DC. One would be Brandon Staley because he's already the assistant head coach. He's already within the organization. That could be like a last resort type of thing for the Niners if they don't get the guy they want. Dennis Allen is another guy. I don't know if they have any interest in Gus Bradley. However, I will be interested to see if they bring in anybody else for interviews, knowing that Ulbrich took the Falcons head coaching job. So, again, Deshae Townsend, the Detroit Lions defensive backs coach, is also on that list as well. I don't know how well they like him. I don't know how well he did in his interview, but he is a candidate. And, that's another guy that could definitely be like a last resort type of decision as well. So, look, if they can't get Saleh at this point, knowing that Ulbrich is going to Atlanta, they need to get Dennis Allen. They need to bring in Dennis Allen. They need to hire Dennis Allen. I don't know. He obviously hasn't interviewed for the Niners DC. He hasn't interviewed to be their defensive coordinator. However, with Ulbrich gone, they need to bring in somebody else for an interview here. I don't like how they've only interviewed a couple candidates in this process. Kind of scares me. Could also be a good thing. It could also kind of be telling that, Saleh is coming back to San Francisco. I don't know. There's so many different, ways to go about kind of discussing this whole situation. But again, Dennis Allen would be my second choice aside from Saleh. I'm a big Dennis Allen guy. Shanahan clearly respects him. He's played very well against the 49ers in the past. And again, I think he is their next best option outside of Saleh. So we'll see what happens. But again, Jeff Ulbrich, hired by the Atlanta Falcons to be their new defensive coordinator. Again, the 49ers' list of candidates is getting shorter. It will be interesting to see if they bring in anybody else. It's also kind of telling that they haven't brought in anybody else for interviews aside from Saleh, Townsend, and some of the other guys that they've interviewed. But again, it could be telling, and it could be, an indication that, they're pretty confident that Saleh will be the Niners or will return to the Niners as their defensive coordinator. So, I don't know. I could be completely inaccurate on that. I'm just kind of throwing out things that could make sense. So, let me know what you guys think of Ulbrich to the Atlanta Falcons. Should the 49ers bring in any more candidates for interviews? I think they should. This needs to be a pretty careful hire. And if you can't get Saleh, you got to make sure you get the next best option. So it'll be interesting to see what happens and transpires over the next couple weeks. However, let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. As always, go Niners, and I'll see you guys in the next one.